Let's bring in Dan Bloom. Bayern perhaps slight favourites. Do you agree with that? And if so, Chelsea, of course, have shown us this season and in the last few weeks that you can write them off, but they back themselves all the way.
That's absolutely true. They have shown us recently, time and time again, as many times as I seem to underestimate Chelsea or pick against them, they find a way to make me look like a fool. I am going to side with Raphael as well. I do view Bayern Munich as slight favorites, but Chelsea plays this very tough style of catenaccio, the Italian term for defensive-first football, ceding the majority of possession to their opponents. But one thing that Chelsea does so well is take their chances when they show their heads, and they really exhibit true leadership in being able to get it done in the difficult moments. So quite honestly, I could totally envisage another penalty shootout deciding this entire Champions League competition. And when that happens, it basically comes down to a coin flip.
Yeah, absolutely. Penalty shootouts are always a lottery. Raphael, let's talk about the managerial situation at several European clubs, because we've got Pep Guardiola, who still hasn't committed his future to Barcelona. We've got Jose Mourinho. What's going to happen with him at Real Madrid? We had 200 Real fans staying in the stadium tonight chanting his name. We've got Roberto Di Matteo, who've turned Chelsea around, but of course he's not guaranteed the job at Stamford Bridge. Can you see any of those guys moving around in the summer and perhaps ending up at one of the other three clubs?
I don't think so. I mean, really the big question mark is Roberto Di Matteo, and I think that might well come down to what happens on the 19th of May in Munich. I think Roman Abramovich has shown himself as someone who does like to take decisions on an ad hoc basis at times, and I think that result might ultimately prove either his undoing, Di Matteo's, or his promotion to full-time manager. I don't think that Mourinho will leave, I don't think that Pep will leave, and I don't think that Mancini will leave, just to give you another big name. I think actually, for a variety of reasons, that we're not going to see any big managerial move in the summer.
Raphael, thanks very much. Dan, we've had just incredible football this week, haven't we? I tweeted earlier on it's been a bad week for fingernails. Great games to watch, but very, very tense to watch. Can the final possibly match what we've seen in the last two nights?
I certainly hope so, Don. I mean, I'll tell you, no matter what happens, the home field advantage, as Raphael said, is going to be absolutely amazing, and the atmosphere inside the Allianz Arena will certainly be something to behold. What concerns me about that, as far as Bayern Munich is concerned, is that we saw when Chelsea went down to 10 men against Barcelona, they employed a siege mentality, and it almost seemed as though they got better. It was a me against the world type of scenario, an us against the world setup, and they may find themselves in that same scenario in Bayern Munich, and the Bavarians may feel the energy at their backs. They may push forward a little bit harder than they should and create some spaces for Chelsea, take some risks, and we know that Chelsea's deadly on the counterattack. So in a certain way, I could actually see this heated atmosphere working against Bayern Munich in an odd scenario.
Yeah, very good thought there. Interesting analysis. Dan Bloom in Washington, D.C. Thanks very much.